Lo and behold, how to start a fire with a pizza box. A box from a 6-pack, about 5 matches, a couple of business cards, and of course some decent and well drawn out firewood. Hi, I'm Jackie Fox, and I am happy to welcome you to our fireside chat today. When I was moving into this apartment, the unit with the fireplace actually ended up being the same amount of money as the unit without the fireplace. So out of the two options, I chose to go with the fireplace because, well, I mean, it's pretty impractical, but I love it. I love sitting by the fire. I love the very real warmth of it. It's amazing. It reminds me a lot of the cycle between night and day, between warm and cold. If it were actually winter and it were actually kind of cold out here, like maybe it was when I was a kid, this fire would be a very welcome relief. But at night, it's very crucial. It allows you to see the people around you who are by the campfire with you. It keeps you all warm. You can even curl up pretty close to it without catching on fire, even if you're completely soaked in whiskey. Well, he seemed like he was soaked in whiskey, but that's an inside joke I'm gonna leave for another day. But while we're on the topic of day and night, it's time to talk about Umbreon and Espeon. So let me catch you up on the old naming trick, the original, on which this episode is partially going to be based, because this game has, from the beginning, given us tricks to get different Eevees. So to get your Jolteon, you nicknamed your Eevee Sparky. If you didn't have a Jolteon yet, that would yield you one Jolteon. For Vaporeon, it was Rainer, and for Flareon, it was Pyro. So, with Generation 2 coming, we added Sakura for Espeon and Tamao for Umbreon. But, as a lot of people noticed shortly after that, it was impossible to get either Umbreon or Espeon from normal evolves, like the original 3 Eeveelutions had been. It's not random anymore. You have to do a very particular set of steps in order to get your Umbreon or your Espeon. And first, in either instance, you have to make them your buddy and then walk them for 10 kilometers. The second step in this process is to evolve them while they are still your buddy. Now, the part that differentiates Umbreon and Espeon is, like in the game, whether or not they evolve during the day or during the night. And I personally welcome a lot more new ways to evolve your Pokemon. The series was really good about it. They made it really interesting. Item evolutions have been a cool touch to add to the game. But I would really like to see more day and night stuff. A couple of things actually that they've been doing with the day and night cycles is that now that Generation 2 is out, certain Pokemon appear more late at night or more during the day. Sunkern being a good example of daytime Pokemon, and dark types and ghost types being good examples of nighttime Pokemon. Second thing that they've been hinting at is different day cycles. So it's not just all of a sudden it's dark after being completely light. It's gradual, and it gives us the opportunity to see some beautiful sunsets, both in the game and outside of it. So I think that that's going to be a beautiful adaptation for the game. So one of my logs just forced its way out, and of course I put it back in before grabbing the camera to show you guys, but yeesh. Alright, so I had to add a little bit of fresh wood to the fire. As you can see, it's roaring up nicely behind me as the new wood begins to catch. Right now it is so unbelievably cozy over here in my apartment. It is very much enviable, even though it's not a particularly cold day. Oh man, there's just, I definitely need to get that on my back, use some stuff out. But there is one more thing I want to cover as I bask by the fire, and that's which Eevee should you be evolving into Umbreon and which Eevee should you evolve into Espeon. And here's where having a good IV tracker comes in handy. So personally, like I've told you guys in the channel before, I use IV stats. IV stats gives me a breakdown of the CPs that my Pokemon will evolve into, and that's been super useful for me in hand-picking the Eevees that I want to become Espeon and Umbreon, because it's not a matter of guesswork anymore. It's not a matter of, well, it might become this, it might become that. No, I know that it's going to become an Umbreon, I know that it's going to become an Espeon, and I can pick its evolved CP based on that. So with Umbreon, it's a really amazingly defensive and tanky Pokemon. It has access to a really great dark type moveset, which is pretty helpful in battle against some things in the metagame. Because of its overall CP, it's not going to make it into the top tier. It's not going to be something that you're really going to see in gyms, even though it makes an amazing defender in a gym. It's just too weak to really compete in the metagame, and is kind of tough to beat as well. If you actually do put one in there, it's pretty hard to prestige. So you're going to be wanting to use lower CP Eevees, but I'm actually going to look that up and put some updated numbers right here, kind of my suggestions and what those evolve into. Now for Espeon, you kind of want to get your biggest thing with good IVs, because whether you put it in gyms because it has high CP and actually is a pretty tough defender, or whether you use it for taking down gyms because it has brutally high attack and not necessarily the same defensive potential in its stats, at least, as Umbreon does, it's kind of valid for either one, and in either case you're going to want it to have high CP and you're going to want it to have good IVs. So really, what CP of an Eevee would you hope to get a Vaporeon out of, and then choose that Eevee for your Espeon. Oh, also, follow them on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, because they're your pizza company, and that's important. But seriously though, I would appreciate your support on social media as well. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, I have a Twitter. I don't really use it. I haven't really seen much of a purpose for it yet. But of course, follow me on YouTube. Even if it means that you have to leave Facebook and go to the site. I know it's a pain in the butt, but I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, here's today's episode. Don't forget to hit up our Facebook page and our Patreon page for more additional content, if you are so inclined. Until next time, trainers, happy training.